Welcome back. Sunday night means one thing, it is Penetrate Clan Wars League with myself, Bigfoot, alongside my good pal Highland Wolf. How's it going, buddy?
Hello. I'm excited. Week 5 now. We're already on, so we're already over a month into this second season, and kind of approaching towards the end of these couple weeks here. And I'm getting kind of hyped for these leaderboards and seeing how they're turning out. I mean, got some very interesting stuff going into this week for the leaderboard in these teams.
What are you saying? What's you been doing? Crunching the numbers, have you, pal?
I have behind the scenes crunching numbers, and I tell you what, we have AMZ Lions 150, sorry, should I say 52 points ahead here, with 205 points in total, and not placed anywhere below 6th place, 6th, 2nd, 3rd, and 5th for these 4 weeks, and never less than 33 points in a night, 82 points in week 3, which is the highest of any team in this league so far. In Fallen Angels, the next highest in terms of points of one night being 71.
Yeah, it's insane. AMZ have been smashing it. They are through into the finals of the TDM League. They will be facing off against PDX next week. They've been really OP right now, and War Machine, this new edition, is just absolutely killing it. Really going to be exciting to watch them tonight. Looks like we've got quite a few people jumping out east side already. Maybe Los Leones dropped for a couple. Gods of Greece seem to like Los Leones sometimes. It does look like they're dropping down there. We do have Penetrate Gunners heading east as well. Maybe just into the other side of Los Leones. Picardo looks like it's going to have Task. And Hard Shift dropping in some compounds around Picardo.
Yeah, I've noticed looking at these drops so far in recent Thursday scrims as well here, Bigfoot. It does seem to me that a lot of these teams kind of like to drop down on the south end. Also watching, you know, the competitions on Twitch as well for PUBG. It seems that teams don't really like dropping around in the center of the map around San Martin and La Bendita. Teams as well, they're just avoiding it entire middle stretch. Even El Pozo not going to have any teams there at all. Just going to be at top and the bottom of Miramar here used.
As the circle shifts to the west, away from the flight path generally, but a lot of people just on the border. The Los Leones drop's going to be pretty interesting. Mayhem have jumped up to the northeast. Wiz here was complaining that it was FPP in the chat, so they'll be going down pretty soon, hopefully, and just leave these TPP players out. This league is FPP after all.
Yeah, and I tell you what, it's going to be interesting looking at these teams moving into week 5 now. I mean, and more stats for you here. I mean, we do have, okay, in second place, RAF Blue with 153 points, and RAF Blue claiming first place in last week's games. And what's interesting to me looking at these results over the last couple of weeks is we've seen AMZ in second week 2, then they got first in week 3. RAF Blue got second in week 3, first in week 4. SAS in week 4 got second place. So if we keep going along these trends here, SAS going to finally make it back up to first place if we keep on this trend. Also looking at the two teams here. Two host teams, Gunners and Game Over, in 5th and 6th place respectively on the stats so far. 97 and 90 points respectively for Gunners and Game Over. Big shift between these points here for these teams, going even from first to second. As we say, it will be 52 points in total difference between first and second place. And then if we look at 4th to 5th place, we're also looking about 25 points of difference between these teams, and only 4 teams over that 100 mark. So only 4 teams over 100 points, and the first place team over 200 in total. Was a lot of catching up to do. And specifically for teams that had a disappointing week number 4 here, Bigfoot, as well. Fallen Angels only receiving 7 points in total week 4, despite their amazing first place, 71 points in week number 1.
Yeah, Fallen Angels did amazing on their first night, but didn't come in quite so strong with their second occurrence. Their second appearance, I guess is a better word. And they're not going to be able to stay on top of that unless they can keep up that momentum after missing a couple of weeks. Had they turned up for the other weeks, they'd probably be pretty comfortable at the top of the scoreboard still, but they did tap out of a couple of weeks and came back with only 7 points, so they're not going to be too high up for now. I've seen a couple of chicken dinners drift in at the hands of different penetrate teams. They're going to be trying to climb up this league table a little bit further, but it is very tricky for them when teams like AMZ are so far ahead.
Yeah, definitely have to agree there. And it's going to be a lot of catching up to do for these teams. A lot of teams are going to be looking for this massive win and shutting down as well AMZ Lions. If AMZ Lions continue in week 5 to have good games, good kills on board here, they're going to be stretching that lead out even further. And it's going to be almost impossible for teams to catch them moving later into future weeks. And teams as well, they're perhaps underperforming. Like we say, Gunners and Game Over not receiving even 100 points yet over the first 4 weeks, needing to get more points on board. But what has been interesting is seeing the progression of these teams here. And even though Gunners are in 5th place right now, they've been looking better and better every week. And especially looking in week 4 and week 3 even, Gunners have been improving a lot. And we start to see them be really racking up these points in the last 2 weeks, even overtaking Game Over.
Bit of a graphical glitch on the iPad. I don't normally get that. It's normally just an emulator glitch. But we are up here, sitting in Cruz del Val right now. Checking out Nike, shooting up on SAS, up to the high ground. They did get a headshot on Oman, bringing Oman right down. Q and Psycho have gone down for a bit of a flank on a different angle right now. WRLD, Team World should be pretty easy to surround if they can play their cards right. But it looks like they've got a pretty good shot on them.
It'll be interesting to see how this fight plays out. And while we're just kind of waiting here, obviously these teams continuing to loot themselves up. Still 21 teams, 6.5 minutes into this first game. And going to be interesting to note how Game Over, specifically one of these teams, play out in this first game. Because Game Over really have struggled in the last 2 weeks here in this first game. They've gotten wiped out really early on, especially week 2 even. I believe they were first eliminated in Miramar here. Second, week number 3, sorry, they were second eliminated. In week number 4, they're about 5th or 6th eliminated from last place. So they're going to be looking desperately to see if they can get these high points in this first game to really set them off tonight here. And it's also going to be interesting to see how they play and how his team plays out, not only over Miramar, but over the rest of these games that they're maybe more comfortable in as well.
So we did get a knock there. Nike did get taken down. Spray by SAS as the rest of SAS start moving in a bit closer. Marvy themselves have managed to heal up Nike. Wonder how much meds they're sitting on. Doesn't look like they're sitting on too much meds. They do need to. Oh yeah, there's just about enough to deal with this for now. But then Turno goes down. I do think SAS are going to be starting a good momentum right now. 2 knocks onto Nike already. Sorry, onto World already. Nike is back up as Turno goes down. I do think SAS are going to keep this aggression up. They're going to probably try and get a bit closer and make the push.
Yes, so only Nike and Marvy remaining for this trio squad right now tonight. And this is where it starts to really be a disadvantage. Now only Marvy alive as Nike gets knocked up by SAS. Now down to our final member. And it's going to be interesting to see if Marvy does go for his revive. They will stop for his revive. But this is when SAS are surely going to be pushing in here. We see Psycho and the rest of SAS here on the flank side here. Going to be looking in. But they're hesitant here. And this is what's going to allow. Now it does look like decided Team World to get back into this game. They're not rushing his team despite the fact they're only down to 1 member, now up to 2 here, but Nike still down and halfway to dead.
Cons has got a good knock there. Who was that against? Where are they? Yeah, Pen up against Vape. That will be Penetrate up against Vape. Also, we have got Gods of Greece. That's kind of driving in a very similar area to the Gunners. As it does look like Penetrate Game Over starting to work their way through Vape. There is Houdini down by Tarzan as well. And it looks like World are making the retreat now. SAS not taking that opportunity to push. They did have a vehicle. They could have done it. If they all just rushed at the same time, they would have got that. But That's that one over as they make their retreat right now.
Yeah, it's going to be about who can be aggressive in these 3 games tonight. Now, we're going to be looking not only for the good standings here from these teams, but also from the kills. As we say, those 52-point margin between first and second place is not only down to the the game points that we can accrue here in these 3 games, but also going to be looking at the kills, as we say, because statistically, the last couple of weeks here, we've not seen majorly high points. Yes, we've seen the 82. Yes, we've seen the 71 points. But if we look down the leaderboard for the rest of these teams over these weeks, it's been statistically lower numbers, around the 40s and the 30s. And even looking at 29 points last week for 5th place. So now we need to start seeing really how these teams can be aggressive, how we can, on top of just these game points, get all the kills on board that they need to catch up to AMZ Lions in first position.
Yeah, it's all about taking out AMZ Lions. They're kind of on top, and I wish them all the best of luck next week as they take on PDX. It's going to be really difficult for them. That was Clark down from F2 there.
Yeah, it does look like F2 here are going to be struggling. I do have it on my list here. Mayhem is one of the teams, but we have had a couple switch arounds for these teams here just before we started. So apologies if we do get one of the team names wrong. But do have Mayhem on the board here. And Clark 4, if we do have it for Mayhem here, going to fall down. And we're going to be down to 3 members here to God YT Wiz and Beast here for these final members of Mayhem. And it does look like they are being aggressed by the Rat Pack. And Rat Pack, one of these teams that have started also to get more points over these last 2 weeks here. Had a couple disappointing games in the early on, but now we're starting to get these points in. Maybe they could be contenders if they can have a couple good weeks back to back. These teams continuing to rotate into the zone. So now that we have all these teams rotating into this first phase zone, we're about now to hit almost that second phase in the first game here. And it does look to me so far that we kind of seeing a bit of deja vu from our scrims on Thursday night, where we saw this zone really just delete people hard on that western border there on those cliffs. So it's going to be interesting to see if it continues to shift west. It will still include those cliffs, but likely maybe going to shift around El Pozo and start to see teams rotate further north. Teams still stuck out here, RPG the Rat Pack and also Mayhem outside this zone, far from safety right now. Also looking to get into this zone is Game Over. They're going to be wanting to make their way inside of this first, should I say, second phase zone here. Moving in, these teams are looking for position inside this player. Still got teams down on that Southern Island. Still, we've got a player all the way from DDUK still to rotate down. Up from a bridge, sorry, should I say, but they're going to have a hard time rotating up. DDUK looking like they could really struggle. These 4 members to make their way up through Minas Davao and Trimacera up into the play zone. In their way, we do have RAF Blue, the victors from week number 4. In their way to make their way through. And we could see some upsets as well tonight, Bigfoot. We could see some upsets. And all to play for, as we say, still early days. 20 teams still in this game for Miramar.
Yeah, it could definitely happen. And just right now, we do have RPG Rat Pack scaring away Team Mayhem. So they're going to make their way out right now. They did manage to take out Clark. And they're both engaging for a little bit too long inside the blue zone. And it's going to be a little bit on the back foot for them making it into zone. See, as the play zone does actually take down Carbon from Penetrate. Guess that would be a finish. No, Carbon's not finished yet. Where is he, though?
Yeah, very far north here, Carbon, unfortunately, caught outside of that border and kind of confused why Carbon hasn't rotated into zone. Perhaps a disconnect on their end, which will be unfortunate. Yeah, looks like that will be what happened there. And also rotating just behind Game Over, we also have that Mayhem squad rotating now in behind them, as we say. So it's going to be interesting to see how Penn make their way in, sandwiched between not only Mayhem behind them, but also Team World ahead of them. Keep an eye on these teams and the rotations in. The red zone also going to play homage there to actually now going to really hurt the actual side of RPG Rat Pack. They now can't just travel straight into that zone. They're going to have to rotate around closer to Game Over and closer to the Mayhem squad there. Still 20 teams alive here.
And right now we do have Broken Silence being pushed by Task. Hayes looks like they might be about to go down actually. Trying to deal with a double push from 2 different directions, and Andrex will take out Hayes and also bleed out Hayes straight away there. The rest of Broken Silence is going to try and get this revenge right now. Broken Silence, of course, that one game was just Sneaky and Hayes where they were absolutely on top, but ever since that one absolutely dominating game, they've found it a little bit hard to make it out alive and with high points. Sneaky goes
Broken
down.
Silence, yeah. One of these teams who have struggled, I think, as well. Just many teams with the terms of the scoreboard, it's been very even across these teams. Teams who performed well in the early couple games, then performed badly in later games. And as that's continued that trend over the last couple of weeks, that's why we sort of seen these kind of breakout teams with the 82 points accrue such a lead over other teams, because no team has really dominated apart from these rare standout occasions in week 1 and week number 3. It's all been very tight on the scoreboard, and no team really getting higher than around the 55-point mark.
Yeah, that will be Broken Silence taken out there by Task, so that is really bad for them right now. Very low positioning, and this isn't just a nightly scoreboard, it is a seasonal scoreboard, so any game out in last place or second last place like this is going to really affect you. And especially for a team that showed so much potential in the first game we watched them even play here. And it's going to be a little bit annoying for them, losing out in that first game so quickly against Task.
And talking about players and teams here, it's interesting to know actually that Gunners have Wolfie on their squad today for these games. So going to be interesting to see how this team that has been performing better and better over these last couple of weeks perform with a new member on their roster going into week number 5, because this could switch up just how good their synergy is and how well they're going to be playing going into these final zones. And as we suspect to see them later and later into these zones on Miramar in this first game, we'll start to see that really unfold.
Yeah, so keep an eye on them as they come in. Does look like they're edging for now. There's quite a lot of action in the middle and a lot of people to be shot at by if you're going to drive past, so might be worth just judging these zones right now. A lot of teams left. Shifts up to El Pozo. You called it, mate. You were right. And it looks like the rest of the teams are going to have a hard time heading north. No one's really in that zone in the north side. South side does have Fallen Angels, Gods of Greece. Looks like Omega God YT got a good sniper out there. So this will be Mayhem surviving into the later stages of the match after making that escape from the Rat Pack. And they will be getting some knocks on the way, but can they confirm them?
In this semicircle of teams along that eastern side of the play zone is going to be where we start seeing the action really pop out in game number 1, where we're going to start to see these teams really fall against one each other, really kind of like dominoes. I suspect within the next 2 zones, we're going to see these teams really drop down in game number 1. And notice on this zone, actually, they ahead of these zones now shifting in, Fallen Angels, one of these teams that we're looking to get more kills, we're looking to get high places on the leaderboard in week number 5 if they can do so, already rotated hard into El Pozo. I'm going to be that first team to control this compound.
Yeah, they were pretty close to Gods of Greece a second ago, but they took 2 different routes to get to El Pozo. Gods of Greece heading towards the outside, but maybe soon to meet up with Incognito or Zed Paradox. It looks like they're just going to hold it down for now. I can't see. Oh no, they are moving. They're actually trying to get some high ground outside compounds. Not a bad shout, to be honest. Not the most expected area to find people, and a little bit of good angles on people driving past. You can see, like we said, Zed Paradox and Incognito in the area, who are also themselves heading into El Pozo, which currently only houses Fallen Angels.
Sometimes it is smart not to completely drive into a compound here. It is definitely going to be contested here. We do see the kills going over between Hard Shift and it also does look like it's going to be versus Task Force here. We do have Hacker Slayers rotating around that northern side that Van Over will be looking at, but can't quite find the angle for just yet. And as we see the team side, should I say, it does look like there's also going to be more kills going over. Excuse me, is we do see actually Gunners finally find a fight here, and they're gonna find these 2 kills so far versus the side. If I can find it, well, actually, never mind. I don't even need to say whatever team it was because they're already dead here. Bigfoot is Gunners secure himself the first 4 kills from in this first match here. Going to be continuing on. No players from Gunners dropped so far, so a clean first team fight. They're moving into this final zone.
Gods of Greece have got them 1 kill from blowing up a vehicle as it drove past, and now we have RAF Blue hugging the side of this cliff here with nades coming down. Is that RAF Blue or is that a sub team?
Maybe a sub team. I've seen Brooks' name before, TD as well. I do believe it will be RAF Blue, from what I can remember here. Definitely should be. I'm surprised if it's not, considering that I do remember these players from previous week. But we'll have to see there. As we say, have been a couple change rounds on the teams and the rosters and the slots that teams are taking tonight. So apologies if we do mix it up in the first game or 2 here as we kind of get ourselves understanding of which teams are going where. It doesn't look like Brook, so from what will be RF Blue having been knocked up by Love Lollies here as they have been caught out of position rotating into El Pozo, and these teams finally making their way in. This is where we're starting to see the congestion and the team fights take place. Also looks like on that northern side, it does also look like World have completely wiped out as well. RPG, the Rat Pack, securing himself 4 kills in the 3 versus 4.
Looks like Penetrate game over, having a little bit of a conflict here with Elves. Cons is down. Don't think Cons is getting revved either all the way out there in zone. That will be that. Now it's just Tarzan and Devious.
Yeah, looking to find that grenade. They find almost one there. Quan also going solo, but no knocks coming out just yet. Devious also being forced to use that med kit. But here comes Sam as well over the top of this ridge, looking to try find these kills. Going to be rotating back though, just to make sure that they are still together as a team. Do not want to be knocked out in these final couple of zones away from your team and be just down 1 member very, very quickly. We also have to respect this trio here from Team World. I mean, to take down a 4 versus 3 isn't easy, and it's going to be interesting to see how Team World, one of these league teams, move in through the rest of these games, because quite a team that we haven't kind of looked at too much over these first 4 weeks.
Tarzan's making that rotation of the vehicle, and they've got a pretty good location in zone, so it's not so much that they need to move too far away. They just need to get a half-decent spot to hold their ground right now. Elves are luckily rotating in a different direction, not really pursuing too hard. So we do have a huge congestion on the west side right now. SCS Omon sniping down RPG Storm. Yeah, and Penetrate Gun is now possibly pushing. Oh, that is Rasa Best down. We had request to spectate Rasa Best. I said I'd spectate when they were fighting. I come through and Rasa Best gets knocked. Hopefully going to get back up and be able to deal with this push. But what's happening right now? Let's try and find out who's in this building. It is Jocko actually making a flank now on Wolfie and Menace. And that'll be a finish there. That nightmare. Good little flank through this building from Jocko there. Rasa Best and Murdoch still on the stairs. Molly out. Buys a bit of time, but there is a flank coming from above too.
Yeah, it does look like
there's a
nade here. Struggling down to 2 members right now. The grenade not going to land though, but it will be Russabeth being knocked up first down, and now down to only Murdoch here, who surely will not be long for this world unless they can find some miraculous escape out of this El Pozo compound here, or it will be their grave as they're being hunted down, trying to find the kills round. But versus all these members, it will be Gunners down in 15th position here. A disappointing first game as they did start to accrue those 5 kills, but gonna be out of match number 1 and see them on a wrangle in game number 2.
Yeah, it's just important to remember with this 5-stack here, ever since the update on the map, there is now a really good flank route up the side of the building, and that was taken advantage of by Jocko really well. Textbook building flank on that 5-stack, and then not only finishing off Wolfie and Carbon, I think it was at the top there, but following down the stairs and getting most of the squad wipes to himself. Really beautiful stuff, really good use of that building's new route. AMZ still alive in a warehouse just over here. They've got another rotation to make, but they do have vehicles. This circle's getting absolutely tiny for 14 teams, and I doubt they're all going to make it into the zone. Sons of Odin starting to go down to the blue zone itself. It's very close to the back end of Omond, who's next to Hacker Slayers right now. Task and, of course, Hard Shift. Very close to this drop right now. Does look like Duck's gone too, and it's just Tarzan alive. Let me just check on that. Yeah, missed that. Devious Duck has been taken out. So Tarzan standing solo in the north of that circle right now, with the rest of the teams looking to come in mostly from the south and the west.
It's going to be difficult for Penn game over here in this first game, but with Gunners out of the equation in match number 1, this is where Game Over can start to get these game points on board and start to overtake that 5th position and make their way up this leaderboard, even in the first game today so far. And if they can continue this if it does play out, if we can continue that in game number 2 and game number 3, that's when we can start seeing them move into the top 4, the top 3, because once we start getting to the 4th and above, to 2nd, all those teams are very close, and about 20 points between 2nd and 4th position. These teams here, as you say, going to be fighting it out. We also see Gods of Greece going to fall. That's going to make it down to 12 teams. AMC going to lose 1. SAS, so going to be wiped out in 13th position as well. And we talked about SAS, they could be that first place team, continuing that trend of 2nd to 1st teams over the 2 weeks. AMZ also going to be struggling here, down to 4 kills, but down to just 1 member here. Is War Machine going to try revive Hazy in the smoke here? Matters still to bring back up into the game as well, but it's going to be interesting to see how Team Wells answer this as well. They're going to look like they're going to be smoking himself up though in this kind of shed.
Yeah, the rotation not really going well for AMZ there. I mean, they had, not sure exactly how many vehicles they had. I just saw that they had a couple, they had at least 1 or 2 inside that warehouse, and it does look like World are going to take them out. Firsting them out, getting another knock. Hazy trying to finish off World there. That will be good, but the zone is crept up again. Does actually buy them some time. They're in a pretty good position for the next minute and 25 while they just get this heal off. And if they use their brains and just scout back into the zone, they could run and get... Actually, no, that's probably too far away. They're kind of stuck for vehicles, to be honest. They've got to get lucky with the attention of the other players on the high ground. Hopefully they're distracted by other teams, etc., and they can work around the terrain to find their way in. Tarzan's still alive.
Look at this rush. Look at this rush into zone. We just saw 3 teams almost get wiped here. Down in that south end, as we now only have Task Force and also Hard Shift remaining. Hard Shift does look like 7680 over there, did manage to get himself a good position on the side of this mountain, was able to survive that rush of teams down into that south end, but only 1 player inside that zone, and that belongs to Mayhem. These teams here now onto this phase 6 zone. 20 seconds till we're going to see these teams have to be forced to move again and see more kills come out. 8 teams here at this standstill into the blue zone continues to shift. No team going to be choosing to pop their head out unless they can find a cheeky snipe onto one of the enemy members here. We see a knock-up going against Incognito. There's Betrujas falls down. Quan making their rotation round early in, but it does look like Hard Shift will be the ones to fall down in 7th position here as we now see teams rotating in. One FL's making that hard shift around, trying to find a way into this zone, but it's going to be difficult in a vehicle right now. We're going to be alerting everyone of their location. They're being smoked up and might be blowing up if they're not too careful there. Have to get away from this vehicle, have to smoke themselves up, but it's not going to be fast enough. As Andrex from behind that roll just peeps out and gets that free kill on board. It does look like Taskforce up on these 14 kills here. One member though remaining, and Andrex looking pretty unhealthy.
Come on, Tarzan, why aren't those spray tiles hitting? Nightmare. Tarzan nearly wiping out the rest of Hacker Slayers, but Best did make it out alive. Tarzan's doing a pretty good job staying alive throughout all of this. Definitely got extremely lucky with the zone, considering he's only on feet and hasn't had to make too hard a shift. As well as AMZ getting lucky because they were pinned by Task, who just so busy wiping out every other squad on their way into zone. They did manage to let AMZ get away with a little bit of that. And now AMZ have rotated round. We've got 2 left for AMZ, 2 left for Task, 1 left for Penetrate Game Over, 1 left for Hacker Slayers, and 1 left for Mayhem.
Tarzan from around the rock just completely eliminates the team, and we're down to 4 there. Now down to possibly 3 if we're not too careful for Task here. Could find himself eliminated between AMZ, and no team really more than 2 members here in these final 3 teams now. 1 versus 2 versus 2. Tarzan trying to blow up the side of AMZ with his nades.
Nice amount of nades you got there, Tarzan. Get a smoke down too.
Andrex making that rotation round. Gets put down to half health. Tarzan there with those 5 kills, looking to try and make it on to 6. But it does look like Task will be able to survive just for a couple seconds longer versus Tarzan, perhaps, if they do peek over this hill too much.
Yeah, Tarzan, watch your left, dude. Nice.
Yeah, Andrex gets taken down, and now that 15 kill team in 3rd position opens the scoreboard now for Tarzan on 7, but that zone's going to finish him off, and it's going to be AMZ taking game number 1.
Yeah, that'll be a kill denial from Tarzan there, and someone asked me in the chat who I thought would win. I said AMZ, and look, they won. There we go. I said possibly Gods of Greece because they were already in zone, but they did actually go down very late, and when that zone hard shifted away from them again, they were on that west side, but it was shifted so hard east that when I said that, Gods of Greece actually went down not long after in 14th place.
Yeah, and these teams, obviously with Task being taken out, they had those 15 kills on board, but falling down in 3rd position, going to take them down only to 25 points in total. And that, as we say, has opened up the door for the likes of Penn Game Over, who had a phenomenal first game. They're now really showing their dominance in Miramar. It was their Achilles knee, or Achilles heel, sorry, should I say, in this first game on Miramar in weeks 2 and weeks 3. So secure themselves 2nd, and also a total of what will be 21 points in the first match, and AMZ taking that chicken dinner as well with 20 points plus their 7 kills can be taken to 27. So as we say, that board in the top 3 really closed up.
Yeah, and Task did such a good job of wiping teams out on their way into zone. They did push up to a total of 15 kills. So with 3rd place, that might actually put them pretty level, at least for tonight, on AMZ so far. But AMZ with a total of 7. So Task aren't too far behind hot on the tail of AMZ. But also Task haven't been playing as many weeks, and they're nowhere near the top of that leaderboard.
Yeah, in Task, they are that non-league team, so Task aren't going to be accruing any of these points in total to the league at the end of the day, but they are going to upset the teams that were looking to try and have these good days in week number 5. In the likes of also SAS taken out, Gunners also taken out there early on, and even the likes of RAF Blue, they didn't have the greatest game moving in from Miramar. So these teams going to have to now find their way back in Erangel and also San Hawking games 2 and 3. But Sandhawk game 3 is always going to be that maybe, because you never know how that's going to go.
Yeah, totally, mate. And a lot of chaos, but we've seen that happen in Miramar. Some of the really strong squads just getting caught unawares, and yeah, this consistency is so key, and it's seeing some of these teams that we expect to do so well get taken out so early can be so heartbreaking for them and us, but it's all about that consistency. And you can see some of these top leaders, or the people who really aspire to be at the top now, being very careful with their rotations. Gods of Greece and AMZ both played it extremely carefully until those later zones, but even with that careful gameplay, Gods of Greece out in 14th place, anything can happen.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what we've seen. I mean, I didn't expect Game Over to do so well just based on their performances over the last couple of weeks, as we say, but getting our second place has definitely boosted them up, with obviously the results as well from these teams high up in the leaderboard. Now, Game Over look like they could be that team to make their way up in the leaderboard if they can continue this in games 2 and 3 and secure that second spot, even if they continue to have amazing games moving on to the rest of the night.
Yeah, sorry to say I ain't actually got any replays there. Didn't get a single one. I completely forgot because I just came hot off the TDM, out of the habit of it, I'm afraid. But I am going to need to go get a cup of tea or something anyway. So we'll take a little break right now, and we'll be back in not too long because I'm in the room right now, so it's can only be about 5-10 minutes anyway. Just get the exact starting time for you before I go. It'll be 20:55, so 13 minutes from now, and we will be back.
Okay, catch you guys soon.
was meant to be on. Oh my god. Welcome back, everybody. Game 2 in a wrangle. Some sort of pharaoh thing going on right now. How's it going, Highland? You still there?
I'm still here,
Yeah.
and I've been taking a look at the stats and kind of how that first game has changed the leaderboard. It's not too much in the way of the top change here. We do have a little bit of a change in the scoreboard and teams getting closer and closer, however, in this top 6. So AMZ further ahead now, up to 232 points in first position. But Game Over, who were in 6th place, now up to 5th in 117 points. Pen Gunners now down to 6th place with 103. And closing to 4th position, Game Over, to where Incognito lie with 129 points, who only gained 6 points in that first game. And SAS, who only gained 3 points, are now up to only 149 points. So if Game Over have another good game, then we could see them moving up to even 3rd position, or so if obviously SAS and Incognito have bad games.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, it depends on teams like AMZ having bad games as well. It doesn't matter how good Game Over do now. They need AMZ to do bad, or they need to take out AMZ themselves. They need to hunt them down and finish them off.
Exactly, and perhaps we may see teams target the drops if they have scouted out where AMZ like to drop. If they will scout out where AMZ are going to be dropping and target them down early on in the start of the match, as you say, they need to be hunted down, because getting those points in game number 1 in 2nd, 3rd, 4th position, all securing low points, or I believe in one of these top 6 teams not even being in the running tonight, unfortunately, means that now Animals, AMZ Alliance, they're just going to completely dominate week 5 in this leaderboard if no team, as you say, can hunt them down and stop them.
Georgia Pole's looking pretty busy. That westerly flight path's affected everyone. Flower C's been taken out straight away by WRLD. I was planning on having a little watch of Flower C's gameplay this game, but that will be then removed straight away. But yeah, Georgia Pole looking pretty busy right now.
Yeah, and I tell you what, it's going to be even busier, because these teams all together right now. I saw Ukraine getting a 1 with that Uzi onto Kwebash. That zone there is now rotated in to all of these teams, so no movement going to be on for these teams, but a lot of fighting already to get position inside the zone that all these teams are in.
That will be Clark taken out early again, leaving the team Mayhem without Clark for another whole game. WRLD still alive, and they are going to keep firing into Mayhem. Looks like it might be a squad wipe for them.
Yeah, Team World here now up to 4 members, so they got their full squad here. Gonna look even stronger as they have been taking these knocks on against Mayhem here. Mayhem, unfortunately, having not a great game himself, but what we saw in the first game really was about survival. At the end of that Miramar map, we saw, I believe it was 10 players alive and 8 teams alive in that final zone. So if we have that again, it's going to be about not just the kills that you have, but also the positioning that these teams can muster in these final couple of zones.
Yeah, it's quite an interesting flight path and zone. Just leave most of a westerly game today and kind of leaving out Sosnovka. No one's really there, apart from Sons of Odin down on that island, and Incognito flown or driven all the way over to the east to loot up safe and calmly. AMZ have also dropped pretty carefully into Yasnaya to take it easy. Game over and Vape right on top of each other, which was exactly what happened in the first game. It was Vape and Game Over in a very early fight.
Yeah, 6 teams here in Georgia Poll. Currently in hospital, we have 4 teams there on the south. We have had to note as well, RAF Blue here up in Zaki. They may be in the running for a high position if that zone does shift further north and forces these teams all to rotate up to them. But as we say, that will be what time will tell moving on to this second game. And it all will be about these early game fights here and who can take these first kills.
Klaus has taken down Devious from Team Clown, looks like, and elsewhere, WRLD Marvy's finished off Rasa Best, getting a knock and firsting out. Right now, Vape look like they're making some kind of movement and maybe avoiding this fight for Penetrate just for the second. Devious is now actually finished off by Team Clown Klaus. Enzo and Goku here as well. I'm assuming this is not a tournament registered team.
Yeah, so Clowns aren't going to be a tournament registered team, but they are here to, as we say, upset the leaderboard just as the side of Task Force did in game number 1. And this is perhaps where we start to see the reason behind these teams, especially this week, all going to be scoring kind of low points on this leaderboard if these non-league teams are going to be the ones scoring the high points. As we say, there's going to be all the low points going towards these standings at the end of the night. But these teams still going to be looking for kills, these league teams against these non-league teams as well to boost their score equally.
Team Clown trying to close in on cons a little bit, and Hacker Slayers are still up in the hospital right now. Actually, just 2 of them. Where's the other 2? Yeah, the other 2 are at the compound just further south. It's a pretty even spread on the map as this zone starts to slowly move in on these teams.
Yeah, and it's been very interesting, the rotations even from some of these teams. I mean, Team Incognito Blue have actually rotated despite this zone all the way over to that western side. In AMZ, yeah, all the way over to Yasnaya Poliana there. And that's just down to the fact that being all on that western side, the loot that these teams can acquire is dropped significantly with about those 20 teams around that area. So these teams are going to be opting to choose to loot around these unoccupied areas, and which will continue to be unoccupied for the rest of the game, and try almost outlast these early fights. But as I say, I doubt that these teams will be fighting too much and to the point where these teams will be dropping down early on. I think that we will see kills go ahead to each team, but likely not going to be lower than the 18 team mark, at least going into phase 2.
Penetrate Game Over managed to form back up on this side of Georgia Paul for now. Looks like in the north we might have a conflict between SAS possibly and 21 Myth and co.
We also have Broken Silence moving in, forced out into that fight by the red zone there. Going to force a bit of action, but they're going to opt to now rotate further north to those fields up closer towards the arms of RAF Blue up in Zaki. As we say, they're going to get themselves that juicy airdrop as well. Can't quite see what's going to be in that just yet. It will be an AWM actually, plus the ghillie suit and vest and helmet there. So it's going to be interesting to see how Zaki, so should I say how RAF Blue here, excuse me, make use of that sniper, as we do see these fights could break out on that northern side as well. These teams continuing here just to loot themselves up. Not going to see too much action. And looking from this first game, Bigfoot on Miramar. Do you think that we could see this zone continue to shift further west and potentially upset these teams, force them along this coastline? And if so, what kind of teams are we looking at here that could be making it into these final zones?
I mean, anything's possible with the zone. It could go anywhere, but if it's going to go west, of course, there's people in South Georgia Pole that are going to be the happiest. Whoever can come out of South Georgia Pole alive, going to be reasonably comfortable. But just teams like a team like DD and Primoshk, for example, they could just rotate along that road and be comfortable as well. So it does just depend where the zone goes, and it could go absolutely anywhere. If it does keep hard shifting west, it's going to be quite exciting tonight. But it could also create quite a good congestion if it goes hard east as well, because most of the teams are in that central and western area.
And it's also going to help if it does go further east. All these teams have rotated east to get those extra compounds. They're not going to have to move as far or not through as many teams, most importantly, because if you are on the opposite side of where this zone is moving, not only do you have to move more than the rest of these teams, but you're also likely going to have to move through more teams. And if you do choose to be in the center of all of these teams, yes, it's going to be harder earlier on to survive, but if you do survive, you're not going to have to walk through as many teams, and teams will have to come to you, and that's, if you can survive, where the kills are going to start to play in.
Broken Silence trying to smash through the likes of RAF Blue at this airdrop here, and there's been a bit of a back and forth. Not really sure who's going to come out on top, but so far it looks like RAF Blue. They've lost Hava, and it does look like Folord's the only one to make it away without any kills, unfortunately. So they did get smashed down by Broken Silence at that airdrop, and Broken also in a pretty comfortable position to come south from. Edging in, no one really threatening their rotations if they need to. A little bit fishy, someone in the chat who I know is playing right now asking me what the delay is. You shouldn't even be here, pal.
I bet they are. That's pretty sad. Come on, get out of the chat if you're playing. You can just watch the stream later on if you're really that interested in our voices.
Maybe they're dead.
I hope not.
I hope they are dead if they're watching the stream right now.
Oh yeah, I hope they're dead for that, but I hope they're actually still in the game, still able to play for obvious reasons, still able to compete as long as they get out of that stream chat in the next couple of minutes.
This could be pretty interesting. Team 21 pushing in on SAS. Omon's just retreated a little bit. Diepuck there too. Q gonna fall back a second, but Psycho looks like they're hanging around for a second or two longer.
Yeah, 21st Century here, not a league team, but can provide a massive upset if they can eliminate SAS. The second game, this could be that SAS would be eliminated early on and deny them any opportunity from catching up with Animals Lions in this top spot and deny them that first place position. But they do start to get a knockup. So they get that second knock. Now on to Chuck, but not quite yet as Q falls down. But they're now going to continue to find that third knockup. Going to be that fourth knockup as Chucks finally falls down. And that will be 4 kills now going over to SAS.
It's Rossabest from Penetrate. Whose team is still alive?
I wonder.
Well, I hope you're not in the voice chat, but you know, anyone can do it and everyone does do it. It's just funny when the people make it obvious. When I'm playing scrims and my friends are watching, my people who are dead are watching the scrim on the stream, I say, don't tell me anything. I don't want to know. It ruins the game.
Keep it as honest as you can be, I'd say. Yes, it's obviously, great to see where the enemies are 5 minutes, even if it's 5 minutes behind. Likely teams will be around the same positions if it is early on. So you can tell, obviously, where teams will be, where they're going to be rotating to. But, keep it honest. Be honest to yourself and know that if you are going to win that game, that you won it without cheating. You won it because you deserve to win it.
Yeah, exactly. Don't get the mentality of putting winning over honor myself, but I guess some people do just put the win first.
Yeah, especially when there seems to be money involved sometimes, It's sad. It's sad, but it happens. And We'll try our best to stop it, but can't always catch everyone. AMZ here pulling up on this compound around hospital as well, looking for an angle in to this zone, as we did see that zone rotate west as we suspected around that ocean side as well. So we are going to see teams as we expected around hospital be the most advantageous in this phase 2 zone. They're going to be swarmed by all these teams now moving, and we've got about 6-7 teams already in this area.
Yeah, this center is ridiculous right now. Absolutely ridiculous. It's incognito, drive past, penetrate. Gunners try and pull over and finish Guard off, but they're not going to be so lucky as Vidna starts heading towards the western compound. Guard running away from one penetrate team right into another there, and actually taken out by Tarzan with the VSS.
It does look like Hacker Slayers here. They're struggling right now as AMZ continue to swarm their compound. They have revived all 4 members. War Machine on that low side. They're looking to try find a kill, but almost gets taken down by Byron. Keeping himself alive behind that wall though for now. And Incognito around the other side of this compound. Also going to have to be careful of the flank behind him. It's got a grease there. And Team Clown going to be looking for their blood as well. Hacker Slayers really just waiting for AMZ to move their way into their arms. That bridge going to be highly contested there. That choke point the Hacker Slayers have controlled. Going to deny AMZ away straight across to where Hacker Slayers are standing. But we do find that knock-up onto one. It's Team Clown.
That was Team Clown coming in. Where the hell from? Oh, all the way over there. Wow. So that was Team Clown helping out AMZ there. Right from the distance.
Yeah, and this is what we talked about by these teams also behind them, sandwiching Hacker Slayers in that side of hospital. All these teams will be looking for a way in, and even if they have to, quote-unquote, team up to do so, they will be doing that. And that grenade goes off from that bridge, but Marquito going to be dodging that one. Now sitting on top of that roof to try keep an eye over Team Clown as well. Got the grease on the right-hand side as well of hospital. To AMZ, they're also going to be looking in. Team Clan also making their way up through this compound as well. Going to be trying to look for a way inside. They are currently just right beneath Hacker Slayers as well. AMZ find one knock up onto Hacker Slayers up. Down now. 3 members here as Best has fallen down. The smoke's going to be up to try revive them.
Yeah, Hacker Slayers having a hard time here with AMZ on one side of the hospital and shots coming in from the distance of a ways. And now we have Broken Silence pushing up Hospital Hill. It's going to be pretty awkward for everyone in this area. There's such a good congestion of teams right now, and actually quite a lot of teams staying alive. iPad's running out of batteries. That'll be gone by game 3, I'm afraid.
Yeah, we see a number of these teams as well on the map. They have positioned themselves inside that beach area. We do see Team Clowns continuing to find those knock-ups. So on to now Team World as they rotate their way inside. They have had Nike knocked down, but Turno Bjorn and Marvy, they're still alive and kicking in this game. But as I say so, Turno falls as well. And now we're down to only 2 members for World.
AMZ actually playing it quite calm amongst all this. They could have easily pushed Hacker Slayers by now, but they're not even doing that. They're just holding it down, waiting for this zone to close in further around them. I think everyone's quite aware of how congested this center is, and the wisest of the teams in here aren't pushing it too far. Like we're saying, Broken Silence, they're a bit aggressive right now out in the open for such congestion. I wouldn't want to be out in the open with this many teams around. They might not have the same information I do on the map, but they've definitely heard shots from all sorts of angles. And I would want to be hunkering down in a building right now and not just on a hill myself.
Right, exactly. Yeah, we do see the smokes coming out here from AMZ to block division from Hacker Slayers and almost bait them into thinking AMZ are going to be coming through that bridge. Rebel, they're almost going to be looking to try actually make it in here. Rebel also going to be trying to find one onto Hacker Slayers over this bridge, but mispositioning actually has to fall down off the bridge there. Going to be burst aiding up in a AMZ here lose their positioning with 1 member.
Chaos right now in this smoke. Such chaos. Hacker Slayer is getting pushed from all sorts of angles. Byron spraying into the smoke there. Best has been finished off. Does look like AMZ themselves have one knock on Hazzy, but Rebels healed back up. Mattis and War Machine still on full health. They just need to make this push and finish it off right now. But it does actually look like they're going to fall back and take their time a little bit more yet again.
You say that, but Rebel has actually rotated on across the staircase on the edge, and they're looking to try flank completely Mattel here on Hacker Slayers to get first down, and that will be one down for Hacker Slayers. Is now they continue their push upwards onto that route. Two go down as Baron also falls. Makito will also fall as well, and that will be Hacker Slayers flushed out by AMZ as they bring themselves up to 4 kills. SAS and the kill feed there, also getting a healthy, juicy amount of kills himself here. They have rotated round to the edge of that zone. Up to now, 8 kills in total. We talked about SES needing these kills, needing these points in game number 2 and 3 to bring himself back up and secure himself in this second place, but also have to rely on AMZ falling. And right now with their performance, AMZ are just looking so strong.
Yeah, they always do, but it can't be their chicken every game tonight, so maybe SAS can find a window of opportunity.
And we talked about it. We talked about my theory here. You know, second place to first place the next week for the last, 3 weeks it's been? With AMZ second to first place the week after. RAF Blue second to first place the next week. You know, SAS got second place last week. They still could get that first place this week. They did have a bad first game, but if you have phenomenal game number 2 here and future in game number 3, they can still secure that theory, that prediction for me, and get that first place.
No, it's definitely possible. Oh no, the overwatch from AMZ and Hospital extends all the way down to South Georgia Pole, and Cons does get taken out. As meanwhile, Broke have come back to join the fight, have they? Or they just managed to hold up in a compound? It does look like they're holding up down here, but they do get a knock on War Machine. But because there's so much distance between these compounds right now, no one's really going to be confirming these kills. Gods of Greece just holding down their own compound as well. Nothing real special coming out of them right now. They're playing the patience game. Definitely been going for rotation and survival over anything. When I first saw Gods of Greece in the Clan Wars scrims, they were a lot more aggressive, but back in those days there was a lot less hardcore teams than there are right now. And as the teams have got tougher, I've seen Gods of Greece tactics change a little bit to be focused on final circle placements. They did a great job with that last game, unfortunately taken out in 14th place after such good rotations up until that point. It just got a little bit swamped for them.
It was so many teams alive, though, as we say, in that final zone. It was 10 players to 8 teams alive in that final zone. And it really was just actually decided task force wiping teams through, and then unfortunately being taken out inside those final couple, of players, their final zone there in Miramar, in very tight final game 1. But game number 2 looks like it's all about these kills, all about the action. Is that zone has shifted once again. All these teams, including Task Force, who were predicting that zone to shift along the beach, now have to rotate their way back into zone, and that's going to be difficult with all these teams now rotating from that north side into the play area.
Yeah, pretty of a tricky shift there. 14 teams remaining. RPG in that south side. DD moving into penetrate. Game over. Look like they're keeping, who is it? It's the Elves, is it? No, it's Sons of Odin. Look like they're keeping Sons of Odin out of zone. And Sons of Odin are a team that seem like they want to play for position and rotation, but they seem to be a little bit behind the zone quite often. This is zone number 4, and they're kind of stuck in it on their way out. Carbon spraying down on Mimir. Jacko coming in a second too.
Yeah,
they will make it out alive.
They are going to struggle here. This is the second and the first place team from game number 1 up against each other. Sons of Odin have already made their rotation out, but Penn going to look like they are going to be the last ones to rotate into zone. And with AMZ looking like they're going to continue just to pin down in Hospital the side of game over and hope to deny them any more points and continue their lead in the top of his leaderboard themselves, this could be difficult. Does look like the side of Broken Science just completely destroyed by the rest of these teams also rotating in. We see more kills going in around this play area.
Said Paradox being taken out by Task, but it looks like they're getting a couple knocks back. As well as there's a big fight between HS here. Flower C's there. And that Flower C died at the start, sorry, and that will. The RPG Rat Pack finishing them off. DD still alive just down there as well. Looks like they're, I don't know what they're nading right now, but random nade out there. And AMZ and Gods of Greece have made the rotation right to exactly the same entry point. This is interesting.
Yeah, once again, Carbon looks like in this rest of Pen here, they're going to be rotating around here, far on this road, but that phase 4 zone's going to do a little bit of tickle damage to them rotating around. They look like they're trying to go in from this western side, but little to be noted, this western side, Bigfoot, is also highly contested by Gods of Greece and AMZ. They've also rotated around there as well. So no respite for it looks like game over here.
Yeah, Gods of Greece Ajax is the last one standing. Mattis has actually taken them all out. And that, Mattis has just entered the shed and finished off Gods of Greece as well. So that will be Gods of Greece out in 11th place. AMZ on the west side going to be able to move in a little bit further. SAS coming in from the north, still alive. Looks like all our penetrated squads are gone. Oh no, Carbon's still alive, but can you make... Yeah, they are alive. They're in the car healing up, and they've just crashed. That's going to cost them so much. And like you said, being the last ones to rotate... Tarzan looks like they're just about to get a medkit in. Oh, it might literally just be Tarzan that makes it. We'll have to see. But you've got to rotate ahead of time. Like I was saying, Sons of Odin late to get to zone, but Penetrate focused on shooting them as they tried to. Did actually hold Penetrate back themselves. Tarzan just making it into zone, but they need to find somewhere to pull up and heal without getting sprayed down. For example, here is Foe Lord, who's just seen them pull up and will be finished off. Luckily, Foe Lord was the only one remaining from that squad, and Penetrate game over will make it a little bit further into the game.
Yeah, as we say, already in our final 8 here. Now we're going to see these teams really fight it out, but unlike these 8 teams in game number 1, there's still a lot of full squads alive, including that RPG Rat Pack squad who just have got their knock from I Snipe You Cry onto Rebel here. And Snipe You Cry is one of these players. It doesn't look like actually AMZ though. They're being sandwiched by 2 different teams, and this is what we talked about. Teams needing to take down AMZ, and if you have to sandwich them and make this Animal Lion sandwich go live here on this camera and in this second game, this is what you need to be doing to get yourself on top of this leaderboard. Rat Pack and also the side of DD UK have 2 knocks in total, but Hazzy returning onto DD UK. Snipe You Cry has also been knocked by Hazzy with a double knock up there from 2 different teams. Now going to be looking for those revives on the way back into this game, but still have to be wary of the rotation of Rat Pack, who could still move in. Pool Baz has been knocked down. Madco going to be the only one alive. Surely not going to be too long for this world if they are not careful enough. Has the second knock up onto AMZ once again. Rebel is moving about. Hazzy's going to look to back revive up. That 1 versus 4 situation going to be tough. Perhaps Mad CD going to look for a revive onto Daryl as well. Would it be the smart move? Try get Daryl back up, make this a 2 versus 4. You cannot fight them 1 versus 4 with AMZ performing so well. They will be sniped down though by Task Force with Marina. The excellent snipe from across that zone takes down Rat Pack and down to 5 teams.
Yeah, really interesting stuff as Task make their way into the edge of zone there. Actually, not quite the edge. Kind of going into the center, which is pretty good. They're going to hopefully make a little castle out of their cars. Maybe even go for a 2-2 split of sorts. But Penetrate here, also looking out from this top hill. They've got a minute left till they need to make a move. But can Carbon get a headshot on Emil there? And it will be a headshot on Emil. That will be 1 down for Task. Very important to wipe this squad out if they want to make it into this final zone comfortably. Because Task are holding down great Overwatch.
Look at the kills on Task right now. 17 kills once again. I mean, where were this team in the league? They're not in the league, unfortunately, but they have been dominating the second game if they're almost at 20 kills.
And White literally just got a headshot through the smoke on Rebel. That was amazing.
This is an absolutely phenomenal team in this week's games, and they're going to completely change up this league board in week 5, taking down all these teams. And we're going to see teams perform well, teams perform badly, and especially we might even see the likes of Penn Game Over, who've been waiting for their week to climb this leaderboard into the top 5, into these top spots. This is where their chance could be.
Yeah, well, Andrex, the Andrex I'm thinking of, set up this team reasonably recently, I guess. And they're not actually registered in the league, so they've come in here and stolen all the kills from our players without actually being on the league board themselves.
Game Over rotating in into completely blown up by AMZ in their one vehicle.
Yeah.
Rookie error from Game Over there in week 5, and that's going to cost them in 5th position. CPX also rotating up as they try to first down SAS, but Nish has been revenge killed by Omond. And now SAS versus Task versus the side of AMZ. AMZ looking for their second chicken dinner in 2 games. 14 kills on the board right now. SAS on 14, as well. And also Task on 17. If SAS can secure himself this chicken dinner, Bigfoot is going to be a massive win for them.
Yeah, but they do have AMZ coming around the side. Rebel is on his way, and he knows where they are, I think. He's even nading out before he gets there. A little bit higher to the left, mate. To the left a bit.
Yeah, he's going right, though. Not going to land on Psycho there, unfortunately, but Omon has been the first to fall there to Andrex, and now going to be first down to 3 members for SAS. One of them down to about half their health here, has just healed back up, though. Going to try survive. They take down Andrex, trying to first down Marina as well. Finish off Task, secure himself the second position. They're desperately trying to finish him off, but it looks like a meal from the flank there. They're looking to try first him down, and SES might just be walking into a trap here. They've got to be so careful. First aid kit's going to come out, and Q's going to be healthy back up. But Psycho has been knocked. AMZ trying to first him down. Q's going to fall down as well. Die Pick, the only one alive. 5 kills on this player. Can they secure 6? Can they secure 7? We're going to have to see on the AMZ ever trying, but it's not going to be enough. Rebel destroys SAS, and that's going to be now them in 3rd position. But Task might be in 2nd, and AMZ will just secure himself a second chicken dinner of the game.
Wow. So that's them on top of this league board without any contestation for that for a long time, I think. That is ridiculous, AMZ. Just unrelenting with the domination. 2 chicken dinners in a row.
AMZ have been absolutely stand out today. They have been phenomenal, not only from tonight, but as we say, also throughout the rest of these weeks. I mean, they've only been outside the top 5 one time, and now is in 6th position. So getting also on the top board now for 2 weeks, and definitely going to be on the top for their 3rd week now. For sure, it's going to be just AMZ completely controlling this 2nd season, and unless they have a floppy week 6 completely to like sort of 1-2 points, and you know SAS or these other teams 2nd, 3rd place have that 82 point kind of week in week number 6, we're not going to see a leaderboard change, and AMZ will likely be our victors.
Yeah, almost definitely. They're going to win the entire league now. It's just too consistent. They've just been too consistent. It's going to be so hard for anyone to stop that, and it's going to be quite unlikely that they flop themselves. So
yeah, definitely.
It does look like it's said and done at this point, but it is possible. But I can't see it happening. I can't see someone overtaking them, and I can't see them flopping.
Anything could happen, though. So we're gonna have to see. There's still one more game, remember. So we could see that kind of situation play out. Sandhawk is one of these games that we've seen the zone destroy people. We've seen positioning errors on these teams. I mean, what was it just the other week? We saw SAS completely destroyed last position on going from that chicken dinner in game number 2 to game number 3 being first eliminated. So anything could happen as we see on our final match. But I tell you what, looking into season 3 of Penn Clan Wars, Task are going to be one of these teams to look at if they are going to be applying, because 17 kills in game number 2, second place in total, as well as securing himself third place in game number 1, 15 kills, I believe, as well on top. That's a massive score, and they would be challenging AMZ if they were in the league today.
Yeah, it's very, very high for them. So if they can get into it properly, get themselves onto the actual league side of things, they're very likely to be another strong team contesting for the first places.
And I tell you what, we're gonna have to keep an eye on them, because this has almost been a silent team, I feel like, getting these kills. I mean, I saw Task Force earlier in this game on the beat. They were getting those kills to teams that were rotating to that hard west beach side and predicting that zone, but they didn't really notice them too much. They're almost like this silent team that you only notice them in the final zone when they've already secured themselves the highest amount of kills in the game.
Yeah, definitely could have done a better job of following Task and seeing them annihilate that lobby, to be honest. Once we get into an interesting fight, such as at the hospital, I don't like to leave until it's said and done. It's like we've started the narrative there. It might take 5 minutes to cover the entire fight, but it's just nice to see exactly how it plays out, the back and forth, the new teams coming in, Broken Silence coming in, leaving to a compound, but still getting a knock from a distance, etc. It's just good to stick with one fight at a time and see how it actually plays out consistently. Not to mention the map glitches of moving to a fight as well.
Yeah, and to secure himself as well, obviously, this highest kills in 2 games in a row. Predict that in game number 3 as well for Task Force, but also predicting perhaps that chicken dinner for AMZ, because when it comes to the final zone, AMZ have just been that slight bit better than Task Force. Yes, they're securing themselves the kills, but what matters in the end is securing themselves those high game points, because between, obviously, first and third position is 10 different game points. You're dropping between first and second 6 points in total. If you are this close, and this was a league format, these small amount of points would be mattering.
Yeah, definitely. And we're starting to attract a bit more attention as time goes on. And if teams like Task sign up next season and we have a few more come in, we're really going to be starting to be stepping up the levels of Penetrate's position on the circuit.
Oh, yeah.
And we're not even. I said called this scrims before. It's not even scrims anymore. This is actually officially a tournament with a cash prize. So it's no longer Sunday scrims. We're one of the few UK clans to be running a full-on tournament, and it's getting really exciting.
Yeah, it definitely is. I think the level of gameplay from these teams has just increased so much in this league. And each of these teams, yes, in their own right, they all deserve to be here in this league. And they're all pushing each other every single week to be better and better. I mean, it was only in week 2, week 3 that, for example, we saw Game Over struggling on Miramar, second to last position on that first map. And then today, a totally different Game Over team. And yes, they made that mistake moving into zone, but they were also pressured by that zone moving in. And I think if Game Over can sort their rotations moving into this final game and the next week as well, and even the next season of the league, Game Over could be one of these teams with the rotation sorted out, with their kind of skill in terms of their kills and their team fighting. I think these could be one of these teams that we could see as a dark horse.
Yeah, definitely. And as they start to get that chemistry together and learning from mistakes, it could pick up, but it's just very, very hard to compete with some of these other teams. And it's almost like they're playing in scrims a tier below themselves.
Yeah, and as you say, it's just getting harder and harder for these teams. The level of gameplay being pushed higher and higher. Not even every league, every single week, every single game. Sometimes it feels like these teams are getting better and better.
Yeah, for sure. So we're looking forward to the last match. Sorry again, I only got a couple of clips. It's not worth going through them. So we'll jump off. We'll be back in about 10 minutes with the last match there. Cheers for being with us. I hope you stick with us for the last game. Sandhawk tonight is going to be crazy, and I'm going to be trying to stick with Task a little bit more to really check out what they're bringing to the table.
Yeah, catch you guys soon, guys. Boom! Hello, welcome to the final game, guys. Here we are in Sandhawk. Always going to be a great game. Could go anywhere for these teams, but we did just see AMZ take their second chicken dinner. Going to see if they can take their third, but challenging them is this task force team, the highest amount of kills in the first and second game, just looking for that chicken dinner to round them off.
Yeah, if AMZ get the triple chicken tonight, that will be a record. I don't think we've ever seen that. I think we might have seen it when we used to do two-game scrims, but in the triple game league format, 3 chicken dinners in a row is off the chain. So let's see where they even drop, to be honest. Gods of Greece maybe going to Painan for a change. Penetrate heading down south. Well, that's Gunners going south. Game Over going north. AMZ look like they might be heading to Paradise itself on a long drop, possibly. Would I check that out?
Yeah, it does look like a long drop for a couple of these teams, notably as well Task Force, and it will actually be the side of AMZ actually going to be rotating separately from them. However, we do actually have the side of SAS, so going to be close to Task Force here. So it's going to be interesting to see how his third and second place team from game number 2 will fare out. Task Force have been so close, third to second place, but now looking to the first position in this final match. But as we say, Sandhawk is always going to be crazy, and Painan's where we're going to see these first kills take place as Gunners make the first move.
Sneaky's already down inside boot camp as well. Broken Silence heading for main building. Team 21 on the south side, and on the north side we do have Fallen Angels, but it's only 2 of them, Diablo and Squalinho.
Yeah, we have already seen an entire team drop here, in which it will be the side of RPG. The OGs already down in 22nd position. And that's what we'd like to see in Sandhawk, this action take place. We saw plenty of action in Erangel with that map, with the zone and all these teams in the western side, but going to see even more of that as we also see Vape struggling now down to 1 member up in Paradise Resort versus those AMZ Lions.
Yeah, it's really good stuff here in Painan, and it does look like Menace has been taken out already, and Gods of Greece did get a knock, but they managed to rev that up, so it does make it 4-3 for players for Penetrate. But if Penetrate can keep them pinned in that little building, they might be pretty tough to find loot, while Wolfie still managed to gather their own. You've got people in the chat shouting out your car casting as always, as Ajax goes back down to Rasa Best. Rasa Best, the first one to die from this team in both of the first games, so good to get a couple knocks in there.
Might even be finished off almost, but not quite as Rasa Best. Can't quite find that kill. Wolfie looking to take some more knock-ups, so they're not quite done. As Lawless will also fall down. Aphrodite and the rest of Gods of Greece going to be cleaned up very, very quickly here by Gunners on this Painan compound. 4 kills going to go over to them once again at the start of this match, but we've not seen these start 4 kills. We've seen that before in previous games, but we've not seen Gunners be able to take that and finish the game on a high. So Gunners going to be looking to end this night off on a good note. Do look like on the map as well. Very kind of big split round all of these different teams here. Obviously, the most contested location, no surprise, will be boot camp as well. With these 3 teams, obviously, Broken Silence, also Team 21, and the side of Fallen Angels. Fallen Angels, one of these teams who have unfortunately kind of fallen down. They're going to likely fall down once again, down to only 2 members on Diablo and Squalinho. But you never know. We've seen teams low on members make it to these final zones. It's all going to be on the hands of that zone and these players on their rotations. Boot camp is where this action is happening right now, between Team 21 being pushed in out of this compound here to the edge. by the side of Broken Science as they continue their reign to try and control this central compound still inside this zone. Going to be looking to try to keep control of it as these teams continue to rotate into boot camp closer in. A grenade from the squad's going to be super sneaky, try take down one of the members of Fallen Angels, but it's not going to land to anyone just yet.
Squawks has got Squillinho and Diablo in the building, so even though Fallen Angels only had 2 players, it looks like they're going balls deep into the central compound, and they're just not really messing around. They're just going to try and get these kills. 2v8 right now inside boot camp. What was it? 2v? It's 2v7. It looks like Sneaky's gone. Must have missed that kill, but yeah, I saw Sneaky get knocked earlier on. Must have got knocked again and bled out at some point. Bit of a shame.
Yeah, and we will just have to keep an eye on these teams. Unfortunately, we have lost one of the members on the side of Broken Silence here, but they're not going to let that phase them. Venom going to throw another grenade in onto Fallen Angels, try blow up this team that secured their chicken dinner and their wins in the first week. Doesn't look like that kill feed on the side though. Gonna see a couple kills going over to Incognito. Incognito, one of these teams, have been kind of quiet on the camera today this week, but note that Incognito are inside that top 5 starting week number 5. They haven't had a promising week number game number 1, should I say, sorry, but game number 2 they had slightly better. Wasn't great though, and now we're going into game number 3. We want to see this team make their way back into those top 5 positions.
Yeah, we start to see TAS break through RAF Blue there a little bit, and still upsetting the games tonight. It doesn't look like RAF Blue are going to come out of this alive. Hava has a chance to get Andrex on the push, but I don't know if it's going to happen. Zed Paradox, that is Nish actually knocking and bursting Rebel, which is going to change the game tonight. Make it a little bit harder, or even a lot harder, for AMZ to get that 3rd chicken in a row.
Yeah, with AMZ perhaps biting off more than they can chew early on in this first game. They do have as well note that Sudden Mayhem going to be just above them in that northwestern side. Just behind them to Paradise Resort, but AMZ going to be looking to try finish off the side of ZPX here. Finish them out of this final game and increase their kills, increase their lead, make it absolutely impossible for any team to catch up on them, even if they have a bad week in number 6.
Yeah, that's what I mean, it must be such a good feeling to be that far ahead and dominate that much.
I mean, we saw SAS were a team to do it in League 1, and we had to wait until the end of week 4 to really see a team spread out from the rest of the pack here. And AMZ in these last 2 weeks have just been so dominant, and really it's been from week 4 where they got even that 2nd position where we started to see AMZ really climb the pack, really start to be a force to be reckoned with, because they didn't have that promising week number 1. They weren't the team to be talking about, and unfortunately they are going to be a talking point here as Hazy knocked up by ZPX once again.
Yeah, and man, with an excellent nade push to that rock, made Hazy move, got the spray down right at the perfect time, and it's down on Mattas to run away, I think. But still, shots coming out from all sorts of angles, and this will be AMZ down in 16th place possibly, but actually F2 Clark getting ZPX Nish there. That is Team Mayhem coming in and saving Mattas is behind right now. Mattas still alive. I don't think anyone can get an angle on him right now. Clark doesn't seem to be able to see Mattas. Mattas trying to hold off against the entire Z Paradox squad.
He's trying with his Uzi. He's trying to find the spray, but he's so far away from Ant-Man. And that will be AMZ in 16th position. And this is what we talked about in Sandhawk. This is what we talked about, the upsets. And we've already seen that upset with ZPX, one of these bottom teams to the leaderboard, taking down the champions of game 1 and 2 and taking that team out in 1st position on this league so far. SAS here also going to be moving in. They're finally in that 16th position. They did look like they had in game number 1 and 2. Unfortunately, their comms weren't quite working. Their voice feed wasn't quite working for them. So perhaps that did affect their positioning in game number 1, unfortunately, with these teams not in the right slots. But game number 3, they are in that 16 slot. Going to see how they can fare now if this is going to be working for them.
Elf taking down Bailey right there. We're going to stick here and see SAS pushing into Zed Paradox. This could be a really interesting turn of events because Zed Paradox are definitely one of those teams that have the potential to be top of the leaderboard. They just haven't managed to secure it yet. And they're really, really good players. They're just something... I don't stick with them. If I stuck with them for the entire game, every game, I'd probably be able to explain what's going wrong, but I don't really know how to put a finger on it. I just know I've seen them play, and I know they've got the potential and skill to get there. They just haven't quite managed to put it off.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about these players like Lish. We talk about Ant-Man, their Kata, and also Shogun there as well for their team. They're all players that, in their own right, are really good when they're at their best. But as you say, we've not been able to follow them as much as we'd like with all the action happening in the rest of the map and the rest of these games that we can't, I wouldn't say as well, kind of find that reason exactly behind why they've not been at the top. But in their own right, I think individually all these players are great.
Yeah. And they do work well as a team. I've seen them do some excellent pushes and squad wipes together. I've seen them survive quite late into the game as solos as well. So it's not really explainable why they can't do it, but maybe we'll see some sort of resurgence in a later season.
Yeah, definitely looking towards League 3. They could be their league. They're not going to be League 2, unfortunately. They're not quite high enough. But they can still upset this. They've taken down AMC, and they can take out SAS, which were the second place team moving into this night. They have been that team to secure themselves third position in game number 2. With those 14 kills especially, was that massive 24-point score in total in game number 2 for SAS, boosting them right back up on that leaderboard. PX here trying to rotate around. They're trying to find an angle in. A grenade from Ant-Man here. Going to be a little bit sneaky over the window here to try find him. Omond is also split, so keep this in mind moving into later in this fight. Omond could be the reason why they fall down, but SAS, they do secure himself that first onto Kata with a bit of mispositioning. Interestingly enough, that Mayhem haven't chosen to enter into this fight at all. They've kind of sat back waiting for these teams to rotate in, but they might have to finally fight now as PX make their way, make their retreat towards them.
Well, I think they made a very good decision here. Very high IQ play to avoid the fight and head further into zone than where the fight is, because maybe they could actually pick off both teams now if they can cover the edge of this zone correctly in the right formation, watching out on the angles of approach from outside the zone. 23 seconds to go until it starts pushing in, so got a little bit of time to choose the best spot, but it looks like they're going to keep pushing in right now and maybe not go for the entire gatekeep and just try and head further into zone. I think Sandhawk, one of the things that's very common in Sandhawk is people just running to zone consistently.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is a very fast game. Sandhawk is a very fast map. We've already seen that difference in terms of the players and the teams alive. We're already down to 14 teams, and we're only, 13 minutes in the game. At this point in Miramar, we still had about 18 teams alive at this point in the game. So very different, should I say, going in here. And the kills just completely dominating. That kill feed has not stopped since we started this third game. Task, they're continuing their kills there on that leaderboard up to now 4. Not that crazy amount we've seen, but they're continuing their range just straight into the side of Gunners here, and also Game Over on this western side. It's going to be interesting to see how Gunners and Game Over together fighting these two host teams will fare.
Ross at best trying to make a last stand here against Task, but will be taken out behind from 21 Beloy, and actually could have maybe taken on Task, but unfortunately flanked from the behind is a nightmare.
Yeah, completely sandwiched. Unfortunately, Gunners not quite had their night. We talked about how they were improving in week 4, week 5. week 3, week 4, and then week 5, unfortunately, they've just not had their games that they wanted to. But I tell you what has been the standout team for me is actually Game Over. They've improved so much in these games tonight, and hopefully I've not jinxed them, as now they're moving into fight against 21 team. Team 21 Century being sandwiched themselves here down to just, well, whatever that face means. Can't quite pronounce that one. But I'll tell you what, I won't need to anymore because they are eliminated out in 13th position. And now it's going to be up to task here. Down to 2 members, so actually make that one standing as Marina is the only one alive. And Marina might just be finished off here. Getting shot up here, and Marina will fall down to Carbon, and Game Over looking phenomenal moving into this third game. Up to 5 kills and just wiping every team to make it through that western side.
At GG for the last game, guys. Yeah, crazy, eh? From 2 chickens to 16th place or something.
That's Sandhawk. That is Sandhawk. We saw it happen to SAS the other week, as we say. SAS were, first place in game number 2 in Erangel, and then ended up last the next game. I can't remember what exactly team surrounded them, but definitely this is just Sandhawk at its finest, showing once again that nobody is safe on this map. SAS, so one of these teams still alive in this week, and they're looking to finish off Ant-Man here from ZPX. Now, if they make their rotation, and Mayhem have just moved out the way to allow these teams a bit of space to fight. These teams continue to rotate. This Phase 4 zone going to be closing in around these teams. And then we're going to be Phase 5. This game has moved so fast on the action on this final match here tonight. Still teams to make it in, though. RPG, the Rat Pack still to make their move inside of Zone. RPG, the OGs, so should I say Elfe, excuse me, also to make their way inside. We also see Team World, this team that were seem to be dominating in game number 1, still to make their mark, still 0 kills in this final match. Positioning going to be important for these teams in this final game, as this will be a very open map around this final zone. Panic Game Over, almost losing 1 with a knock up there. Die Pick can't quite find Tarzan. Incognito looks like they will find Cronus on that kill feed. That zone still continuing to shift in, force these teams to fight. And down in the south is where we're going to see this action really start to play out, as Incognito snipe down all these teams rotating in from the south. In the east as well, it looks like the action is also heating up.
Yeah, it's hard to know where to go right now. I'm trying to keep an eye on SAS because they're staring down at Penetrate. It's very strange. They seem to know exactly where they are right now. I'm trying to work out.
Looks like on the south side, we still got a bit of time before the action really starts to kick off. Actually, yeah, say that. Never mind. Actually, just completely. What was that kill feed? Incognito just went out straight after 7 kills.
Wow.
And so like 6 people get killed in 1 second there between that zone and Incognito. That is the power of camping those zones. But that zone has now moved over to the east, and we're going to see all these teams down in that northern western side now have to fight it out. Keep in mind, Gunners are still in this game. Murdoch is still alive. Nine teams remaining in this final game. Mayhem now making their mark here. World have just been completely swamped by all of these teams. They secured themselves those 4 kills versus the side of Hardshift there, who were up against them earlier on that eastern side, but now they're going to have to fight Mayhem, who have that high ground advantage. Also, SAS now moving in. It just seems like these teams swarming upon each other, just on top and on top of each other. Once again, as these zones continue to shift in, Murdoch now being oppressed by the side of Game Over.
He's not Tarzan, though.
Yeah.
And he's trying to get more. He's throwing nades out at Carbon. Pretty tricky 1v4 situation for Murdoch.
He's got 2 kills. We've seen a Kanito just climb their way up to 7. Looks like they're going to find a knock-up there onto Tarzan. Going to first him down. That's going to be definitely 1 kill over to Murdoch. They makes him way up to 5 kills now, as he's just completely wiping out the rest of Game Over here.
Yeah, well, Devious, Cons, and Carbon have made it in pretty safe right now, so it's only Tarzan that's been taken down. It's Incognito, and the next obstacle for Penetrate Game Over to get through. Cons goes straight down. God just made it to the edge of zone there and sprays down. He's going to throw a nade out as well. Could be quite damaging, maybe even take out the whole squad.
SAS up to 10 kills as they wipe out World as well. 10 kills is Incognito. These 2 teams, they were in the top 5, but Penn will not find their victory in game number 3. They will be out in 5th position, and it will be Murdoch still alive, but now has to face another squad here as Incognito come up against him. Murdoch, no respite for a single player.
Come on, Murdoch, finish them off.
Trying to reload here, trying to finish off a grenade over the top would do it, but he's used up so much utility, and Molotov gonna land straight into that smoke. Tried an I'm a grenade also gonna fly straight into the hands of Incognito. A second gonna fly down on top of him. He's desperately a third on top of Incognito now, trying to blow this team out of contention in this final game here. And Murdoch now going to be in trouble. Is that phase 6 zone? Starts to reach him up 5 meters into the zone, 3 meters into the zone. Just has to move out of that rock. Still maybe survives for another game. Incognito now split 2 versus 2, trying to finish off Sons of Odin. And SAS also trying to sandwich Sons of Odin. Now we might just be down to 3 teams soon enough. Murdoch just has to survive, but he can't. And now we then down to 2 teams, and Sons of Odin also fall down. SAS versus Incognito now. The final 2 teams. Can Psycho blow up Incognito? This grenade gonna land high. Can't quite do it. That zone gonna shift once again. These teams 30 seconds, but I don't think this match is gonna last that long. Takita almost being knocked up by a grenade. And Molotov gonna be next to free throwing from Psycho. Incognito down to 3 members here. SAS still strong on 4. Incognito's the split as well, but Psycho falls down. Guard and Bisma there, the first on the return though. With that Uzi, Omon trying to find a second, perhaps.
Baldejas is in a very good Overwatch position. It's good to be away from the squad in this situation like this and cover another angle, because only 2 teams remain, and they don't know this. They just know there's 6 players remaining. But this is actually an equal 3v3. Bidet just goes down at the nade though, unfortunately, and also the M416 spray. So with Vidma down as well, it is a 1v3 situation for Garden. It's probably not going to go well for them with SAS taking out this chicken dinner in the 3rd match.
They finally maybe do it here. They've been waiting to try get this chicken in the 3rd game. Just Guard stands in their way. The Soul Guard, a grenade lands close to them. Will it blow them up? I doubt it's going to. Omod still in front of them to take down. No, they're in the grass. They're trying to take down this kill, but as soon as they shoot, they're going to be revealed to SAS. They're going to be vulnerable. SAS just have to rush them. This zone tickling Guard. There's nowhere to move behind. SAS have their number soon enough. They're just desperately trying to find Vanguard, and that will be the knock-up, and it will be the finish, and SAS secure the final chicken dinner of the night.
Beautiful stuff there from SAS. Finally getting that chicken again. It's been a little while since they've been on top. But yeah, could you get these screenshots and send them to Duck for the last game, please?
Oh, I will. No worries.
I've got the first 2 on my iPad, but the iPad wasn't in that game. Okay,
hopefully it doesn't die on me. I had to load back in here.
Oh yeah, low on battery, and I'll send these over to the Duck, and you send yours over, and they should be good.
And then we'll have a happy Duck. Never mind a devious Duck. Yeah, what an epic final game though, for sure. I mean, these teams were so fast at killing each other in that final game. It felt almost like that game wasn't even as long as it was. Bigfoot. I mean, we saw, yes, it was a 20 long minute game, but the action on that kill feed just did not stop for a single second in that final match.
Yeah, it was pretty non-stop in a lot of different spots. Boot camp had an interesting start, and the battles just moved all around the map all the way. Painan was interesting too. Gods of Greece taken out by Penetrate for once. Happy to see that. But yeah, of course, that wraps us up for tonight. Some really good plays. We look forward to seeing the results tomorrow. You will be able to see them inside the Penetrate Discord. People are adding my emulator account again. I always accept the friend request, but it's just a waste of space on your list, guys. But yeah, cheers for the attention. I've even got any chicken on this account. Someone giving me any chicken? I've got 370 chicken on an account I don't even use.
That's a lot of chicken drumsticks.
Okay.
You could make another chicken. I that much chicken.
But yeah, you can catch us back tomorrow. It's PMCO scrims, Zenith Pro EU scrims, and then Death Race itself. We almost won last week. I kind of want to play again and actually win.
We studied. We were second place. I didn't even realize we were second.
I did. I didn't. I knew we were about to be second. I still went for that armor. It was so dumb. See if I just didn't throw that grenade like so low. I'm so bad under the pressure. Yeah, if I just sat in the car and shot them, I would have won as well. It's a nightmare, man.
Oh man, if only you could cast them to their death.
Not gonna happen, buddy. But cheers for being with us. We'll catch you tomorrow night for Zenith Pro EU.
We'll catch you guys tomorrow.